Welcome to another episode of Follow on the Play. I'm your host, Kristy Love, and I have my co-host Dan from the Three Kings podcast. How are you?
I'm here. We ready? Let's do this. Let's have a good time.
So it's been a lot going on in Bears Nation the past couple of days. The Bears have interviewed over 20 coaches. It's been roughly, I want to say 45 days ish since the Bears fired Matt Eberflus, and we still do not have a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into that, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. I am Kristy Love. And as long as TikTok is still here, follow me on TikTok at Kristy Love Sports. Where can they find you there?
At Danikin_underscore DG3 on both X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and TikTok, of course, until it is gone.
That's right. Hopefully he's still here. I live on TikTok. I promise you I do. And make sure you guys follow Team MBS Media on all social media platforms and check us out online at teammbsmedia.com. We have everything that you guys are looking for, all type of sports, soccer, hockey, baseball,
Yeah,
basketball,
even
football.
entertainment and lifestyle as well.
Yep. So make sure you guys tune in and tap in with us. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. The Chicago Bears are set to interview former Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing the whole red carpet on this man. They're going to take him out to dinner after their interview, and then they're going to, wine and dine him and all that. He is the second coach that the Chicago Bears brought in Hallis Hall, actually in Hallis Hall, not doing anything like virtual. The other coach that they brought in was what's his name, Rivera.
Ron
Yep.
Rivera. Yeah,
So
and
I,
Thomas Brown was probably in Hassel Hall too, right? I would
yeah,
assume
but he
just
was the
because he
interim
was
head coach, so he don't really count.
there. Yeah, I
So
agree.
he
I agree.
don't. Um, I just have a really good feeling that the Bears are going to announce probably Thursday or sometime this weekend that he's going to be our head coach, and a lot of Bears fans are 50-50. Some are not happy with it like me. Some are, you know what, this might actually work. Some people think it's a good fit. And I'm gonna give my thoughts before you go, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a proven record in the past. However, as you all know, with Dallas, with the Cowboys, they can have like a really good record during the regular season, but come playoffs, they always lose. So I feel like if Mike McCarthy come to the Bears, he'll set Caleb up, to look a lot better than his rookie year. I'm not doubting that. But are you guys going to be okay if we get to the wild card and lose? Because that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think we're going to go far. And then on top of that, Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren stated they wanted a leader of men. I don't see him being that leader. He don't have that toughness that the players have been looking for. He don't show that toughness that we really need to get this team disciplined and to play football on the field. You know what I'm saying? But with his track record and his big name, the Bears, Ryan Poles, they might be doing their big one on getting Mike McCarthy, and we're going to be mid. We're not going to go far. I don't think so. We could. I just don't feel like we will. What do you think, Dan?
Um, when you think about this Mike McCarthy situation, and if it goes this route where,
Hmm.
which is what certainly is what it's looking like, that they may be trying to grab him up and things like that. He's a coveted coach, right? Yeah, he's had some success in the NFL. He's won the Super Bowl. He's been in the NFC
Yep.
Championship games. He's in relevancy with both teams that he's been with, Green Bay Packers, and then of course the Dallas Cowboys. He's been relevant in those fields. But the concern that I have with the whole situation is that I just don't see him doing anything for the last 15 years as far as it comes to really winning. Right? He's been blessed with Hall of Fame quarterback play. You know what I mean? With Aaron Rodgers and things like that. He's had an outstanding quarterback with Dak Prescott as well. Even
Mhm.
though people tend to hate on Dak, you know what I mean?
Dak
I
is
see it
good.
for what it is. He does what he does, and he's
Mhm.
a good quarterback in this league. You know what I mean? He's a top 10 quarterback. So,
Absolutely.
you've had this type of talent. You've had a ton of talented players around you in Dallas and Green Bay, everything from Devontae Adams to now you got CD Lamb. You're dealing with the running backs that you have in Green Bay, and then you had the running backs here in Dallas. You have outstanding um, defenses, especially in Dallas. You had a nice defense. You had Micah Parsons and these guys who were creating turnovers and things like that. Now they took a step back. That defense did once my man's went to Washington and became the head coach there.
Mhm.
Their defense kind of took a step back. But what I see from Mike McCarthy is that he's an underachiever. And what I mean by that is, yeah, he did have a successful run to the Super Bowl in what was it, 2010, 2009,
Yep.
2010, something like that. So
Around
you're
there.
talking about you're 15, 16 years removed from that situation.
That's true.
Ever since then, it's been an underachievement because you've had talented rosters, you've had plenty of players, you've had quarterbacks that can play, but you've fallen short year after year after year. And then, another thing that stands out to me is, Bears fans and media and everybody that's been in this process and been watching this thing shake out. We see what we've had where we don't have real leadership
Mhm.
from the coaching position. You think back to Mark Trestman and Matt Nagy and Matt Eberflus. These are guys that were just kind of nice guys. They were everybody's oh, he's a nice guy, blah blah blah, and
Yep.
and that's what you get from them, right? And
Yes, ma'am. So
the
yes,
same
ma'am.
vibe, I get the same vibe from Mike McCarthy. What I
Mhm.
mean? I get the same vibe, the same feel, you might say. And that feel is that, hey, he's a nice guy. He's a guy that everybody's gonna like or whatever, but he's not necessarily somebody that's gonna hold everybody accountable and really motivate guys, right? So when you look at his teams, especially the ones in Dallas here recently, they're always undisciplined. They're always lax on the football field. They don't really. It seems like they're not giving their all. They're not trying their best. So that leads me to believe that your leadership, your coaching, is lacking in that area. He lacks leadership when it comes to motivating and inspiring guys to play good and play their best. You know what I mean? So um, you'd have much of the same.
Mhm.
He's a little bit better than what we've had because he
Yeah.
is accomplished in some ways. But
Yep.
at the same time, it's more of the same, man. Like we gotta have a leader. We gotta have somebody that gets in your face. And this is, you know, it makes me go back and think about it. Is it polls? People are gonna blame polls, right? They're
Yeah.
gonna say that,
Absolutely.
oh, polls is stupid. You know what I mean? Kevin Warren. But you know what? This reeks of the ownership. This reeks of the
Yeah, because they hands in the
McCarthys.
pot.
They want somebody nice. They want
They
a
want to keep
nice,
it
a happy
PG.
guy. He's a family man. This is the stuff that we always
We,
hear, and it's like I
we
don't
don't
care nothing
know.
about his family.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I'm being honest. I want to see results on the football field. I could care less about you know, oh, he's a loving family man. Like that's great, wonderful. You know
That's
what I
not
mean?
going to
But
help us on the field, though.
what does that do for you know what I mean? What does that do for the
Exactly.
team? What does that do for the fan base? Zero.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely nothing. It's
that's the way I look at it. It's more
and
the
you're
same.
right. No, you're right. He's not a leader of men. He's not. And like I said, they keep hiring these yes men. The only out of the couple of coaches we had, Trubisky, Matt Nagy, Flus, and all them, I would probably say Matt Nagy was probably the toughest coach, and he wasn't even tough.
No, he was
But
soft
but
too.
he had some respect initially in the locker room.
Yeah.
But that says a lot because look at Nagy's time in Chicago. That says a whole lot. So and just look at the Bears' track record with coaches. They're going to hire him. That's like the Bears. They're just going to do it. So I'm already preparing for the riffraff that's going to happen. I am, because one, most of Bears Nation wanted Ben Johnson, and and I'm just being real. If the Bears are going to get Ben Johnson, they would have been did it. Why are you waiting? That's the guy you
Well,
go grab him. Why are they
some of
waiting?
some of those some we don't know how that all plays out, right? The Lions are in the playoffs, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
you
that's
could
right.
probably,
That's true. That's true.
you could probably talk
So
to
they
them
gotta
and things
wait.
like that, but how are you really going to offer them a job before they're either out of the playoffs or it's over with? I don't know how that, you know what I mean. I don't presume to know how that works or whatever, but
That's
I
crazy.
think that could be a situation too where,
It makes
those
sense
guys haven't been offered a job. They haven't been offered, and we're not negotiating because they're still
in
handling some of
season.
their personal business, right? So they really can't iron out details of a contract right at this moment. But they can interview, they can Zoom, they can, things like that. But um, probably either when that bye week comes, like, if they make it to the Super Bowl, who knows if they do or not, but that's when you might see some things shake out with those types of guys.
Right.
I'm not necessarily on Ben Johnson either. Like I said a long
Mhm.
time ago, I think it was last week. I said on this podcast, I tweeted it several times. When it comes to Ben Johnson, it's like, he's a good coach. I'm not saying he's bad. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
people tend to have this feel like if Dan says he likes oranges, he hates apples. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's not the case. You know what I mean? I,
Right.
I never
Yeah.
said I hated grapes. You know what I mean? Because I like oranges. Like, kill that noise, man. Like,
They on
people
that with
need
you.
to just understand it for what it is. I look at it and I'm saying, okay, I like Ben Johnson. I like what he's done, but I believe that there's another candidate that has overcome adversity that he has not been subjected to. Now, until I see him overcome some adversity, and who I'm speaking about is Aaron Glenn. I
I was
think
gonna say
he's
that Aaron Glenn, yeah, with that defense,
overcome that
because
that that adversity
yeah,
with injuries and
yep,
so many situations that popped up on him
and
to
they did
just
not miss a
put guys
beat.
in. That means he's really connecting with his players. That
Yep,
means they're bought into what he's talking about. They understand it. He's able to break it down for each player, and they know their roles and they carrying them out, right? So, I think Aaron Glenn is a real good candidate. That would be my choice. But like I said, I'm from the outside looking in. I haven't interviewed anybody, so I don't know what that means. But just from the outsider's perspective, from my perspective, I like what he's done. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
that makes sense. That makes sense because, like I just said, with injuries, they did not miss a beat at all on defense.
Right.
That says a whole lot with what he can do in Chicago. But
Exactly.
I feel like the reason why they'll move more onto Mike McCarthy is because, like I said, he's proven Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn is not.
Mm-hmm.
They're OCs and DCs in Detroit. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCarthy has been a head coach. And I
Yeah.
feel like the Bears, the past couple of coaches we had, they all have been non-proven when they got the job in Chicago. So I feel like that's why they're leaning more on Mike McCarthy than anybody else, assuming. I mean,
It's cool. Yeah.
that makes sense.
And for the most part, he likes to, he can kind of put together his staff and things like that. I think he's done a good job. He had Dan Quinn at one point. Dan Quinn's now
Yeah,
gone, of course, and I
yeah,
saw the defense take a step back. He likes to be the play caller. He wanted Kellen Moore out of there pretty much as soon as he got there, but Kellen Moore was, Jerry Jones was like, no, this is going to be our offensive coordinator for a while, and then they moved on from Kellen Moore. He went, to another team and so on and so forth. But when I look at Mike McCarthy, like I said, people say, okay, he can develop a quarterback. Well, I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. He was a Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Dak Prescott. He was already Dak Prescott before Mike McCarthy got there. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Caleb
um,
ain't Caleb yet.
yeah, Caleb. I mean, I think Caleb's going to do fine. You know what I mean? I don't think it's Mike McCarthy that's going to develop him. I don't look at him like an Andy Reid. Andy Reid is a quarterback whisperer, in my opinion. I don't look at Mike McCarthy like that. I think Mike McCarthy, and I hate to bang on the dude because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not trying to trash him or anything like that. And I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm just saying I think the game is a little bit past him right now. I also believe he doesn't connect with the players as well. because he's not. Look at him on the sidelines, man. Just look at him. Just look at the. It's a boring type of attitude. It's quiet. There's nothing there, and we've been clamoring, we've been asking for somebody that gets in your face, somebody
Mhm.
that talks that talk, like you know what I mean, just
To
a,
get in your
a
head
different
and
type of coach, and that's
yeah,
not
get
what
that
he
dog
is.
out of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not what he is. And true enough, like, teams take on the identity of the coach. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? He's a
Absolutely.
relaxed, laid back dude. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. They're a relaxed, laid back team. You know what I mean? It's more about fluff. You know what I mean? It's not really, you know, they're
My
not
issue
really putting forth their best foot, you know?
my issue is just like you said, he's mediocre.
Hmm.
If you look at Dallas, I want to say I think it was last season. I think they had one of the best records, one of the best offenses and defenses in the league. But then
Was
they
that
got to the
last year?
playoff. I think that
Was
was
that
last
last year?
year.
I don't know. It
Not
might
yeah,
have been, yeah.
yeah. They
Might
was
have been.
really good. They was
Yeah.
really, really, really good. Then they got to the playoffs and they just completely just lost themselves. That's just my main concern. Like we can't be. I mean, granted, if we get to the wild card, that's a big step in the right direction compared to this past season. But we can't be satisfied with that. That's my biggest concern. We're gonna be okay with being mediocre because of what he's done in Dallas. Good regular season team, maybe second in the NFC North. Get to
Hmm.
the wild card and just flat out lose. That's
Yeah,
my main.
I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna say that that's what they do. I think there's a
I
lot of
mean, they
factors that
have.
play into it. You know what I
It
mean?
does. It
I
does.
think there's a lot of factors that play into it, but at the same time, I'm just speaking as far as energy. I'm speaking
I
as
know.
far as,
They don't
just
have it.
do you motivate guys? You know what I'm saying? Like, when we're talking about the Chicago Bears, and we're talking about changing a culture. To
That is
change
not
a
a change.
culture and create a winning culture in Chicago, you're gonna, in my opinion, I want to get that guy that's in there that can motivate and incite guys and you know what I mean, like, get them going, man. Like you want somebody that the players are gonna run through a wall for, and Mike McCarthy is, he don't excite anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know what I mean. That's
He's
the
boring.
attitude. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm not saying he's a bad play caller. I think he does well with what he's been given and things like that. But at the same time, it's underachieving when you have 15 years or whatever it was of Aaron Rodgers, and you can't manufacture anything but one championship. You know what I mean? And you go to Dallas, and we talk about Jerry Jones all the time, and it's like, okay,
Mhm.
Jerry's got his issues. Like, he likes to be involved. He likes to have his radio show and in
Mhm.
Dallas and all of those things, and he gives these sound bites and these quotes and everything like that, and everybody knows that. But at the end of the day, he's consistently put out there talented players. He's consistently drafted well. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
they draft well in Dallas. You know what I mean? CD is through the draft. Dak through the draft. Ezekiel Elliott, when he was rushing for crazy yards,
Mhm.
through the draft. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, all of these guys are
Mhm.
Michael Parsons through the draft. They're getting drafted players, and they become Pro Bowlers. So you have enough talent, technically. You know what I mean? The theatrics that come along with it, yeah, we could probably do without those as an owner. But as far as a GM is concerned, in my opinion, I think Mike McCarthy has had plenty of talent around him, and he's underachieved with that talent.
So so if the Bears do hire Mike McCarthy
Hmm.
and next season we I'll say we don't win the NFC North and we miss the playoffs.
That's
What
what you
now?
say.
What happens now? I mean, it could happen
I
because if the
mean,
players are not motivated by their coaches, what make you think they're going to go out there and give you your all on the field every week?
mhm.
They're not. They're not
So
going to
what do
take
you
him
think is going
serious.
to happen then? What do you think is going to happen? Then I'll give my take.
Well, that's in the event. I don't know if Ryan Poles is going to get extended with his contract. You know, I'm
Hmm.
finna say, if he don't get extended, what do you think? Am I tripping? I mean, he needs to go because I mean, I know you said it got to give it 2 years, but if it's more of the same, it'll probably be better than this past season. But if we miss the playoffs and we're not at least second in NFC North, will it be another failed season? Ryan Post will get the blame on everything, of course, because he took the role on hiring his coach.
I mean, everybody's got their hands in it at this point, though.
They
You know what
do,
I mean?
but
Kevin
Ryan
Warren said
Post
he has his hands in
said
it too,
he
Uh,
did. He
and
definitely
that's
did.
fine. But here's my thing: even if you hire Mike McCarthy, you cannot just turn around and fire Ryan Poles. I just don't believe you can. I don't believe you can because if you fire him, now you have a coach sitting there and a new GM comes in. I don't want Mike McCarthy. Get him out of here. And
This is
now
why
if you get rid of him, now we go from Caleb having two offensive coordinators this year, a
to
third one next year with McCarthy if they hire McCarthy. I know we're jumping the gun here, people, right?
yeah, we,
But
we
it
are,
is
but
what it is.
it's gonna
But
happen.
three. And then if you fire Ryan Poles, okay, now the new GM is going to come in and what's he going to give one more year? You know what I mean? Caleb's only in his second year. He's still got another year after that. You have to ride with this. It's not 2 years. You got to ride with this situation. Whatever the Bears are doing right now, in my opinion, you got to ride for it for 3 years. And if it doesn't work out after Caleb's fourth year, his rookie contract, basically, and you don't, if it's not worked out, then you move on from all three guys at one time.
This is a
You
nutcase.
cannot play musical chairs though. If you play musical chairs, you're gonna have it. It's gonna be a repeat of the same situation.
This is a nutcase of a show. It
That's what it
is
is.
because it's like I know Ryan Post also said he's not going to really give out details on his contract, but that
Oh,
also.
they never do. They never do. It's not just Ryan Poles. Let's not.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, all right,
We
all right,
didn't
all
know
right.
we didn't know the details of Ryan Pace's contract. We didn't know the
That's
details
true.
of Nagy's contract.
That's very
So
true.
the Bears are really tight-lipped about what they do with their coaches and GM contracts and president contracts as well. Ted Phillips, who knew? He just was there all the time. You know what I mean? So
Man, I just know they're going to hire this man. They're going all out for him. Like it doesn't make sense to do all of this and not hire a coach. It's just it don't make sense to me. Went to a
yeah,
local
it don't
restaurant.
make sense if you're doing meetings and dinners and all of that type of stuff. And Mike McCarthy, let's be real, he cut off negotiations with the Cowboys, so
He did,
he knows that he has a job somewhere. He knows it for a fact. Somebody's gonna hire him. He's pretty well sure of it, and
and
it sounds like it might be Chicago.
yeah, very well. It's like I mean, he got a meeting with New Orleans too,
Hmm.
but I read somewhere where it said depending on how the interview in Chicago goes, he'll go to New Orleans next. So that just sealed the deal for me. Mike McCarthy is about to be the Chicago Bears' next head coach.
We'll see. We'll see. It's
I
not
jump in
set
the
in
gun.
stone.
I
I'm
jump in
I'm
the gun.
I'm
But
still holding out hope that doesn't happen.
so if
I want Aaron Glenn.
outside of Mike McCarthy, Ben Johnson, and Ryan Glenn, who else do you think has a potential chance of getting the job in Chicago? I
I mean,
as
there's a
long
lot of guys that have the potential chance, right? I mean, if the dominoes start falling and say Mike McCarthy, let's say it doesn't work out and they don't kind of see eye to eye, and he goes to the Saints and ends up signing there, and then I don't know, Aaron Glenn goes to the Jets, who he's been linked to a couple times, and you
hmm
know your Ben Johnson could go to the Raiders for all we know. You know what I'm saying? So now we have a situation where it's like, okay, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? You got
well,
Ron Rivera still sitting there. You got some other guys. They're all candidates out there, and you just want the best option. To me, the best option is somebody that brings something different to the table. We've seen a lot of the same, and we just want to see something different in there. And you know the Bears are similar to what the Cowboys are doing. Like the Cowboys, they want Jerry Jones. He had Jimmy Johnson. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And they didn't see eye to eye all the time. They ended up running each other the wrong way, and they split. And ever since then, he's always hired yes men. He's always hired guys that he can easily influence and he can kind of overrule and that it wasn't really a he was always like quasi coach, you might say, almost, right, with these
Yeah.
other guys. So the Bears, it seems like they're going down the path. Not saying that they're doing that. They're not trying to be involved in the coaching decisions and things like that, I don't think. But when it comes to the head coach, I think they just like nice guys. They like nice guys. You know what I mean? And we want a nice guy in here so that we can, you know, that's their MO. You know what I mean? I
And
mean, you
Bears
just
ain't
got to
gonna
look at it. Look at all of the coaches. I mean, there were really no, ever since Ditka, there's really not been a fiery head coach on the Chicago Bears sidelines.
Lovie
You
Smith
know
was
what I mean?
probably the next option, and he was like,
He wasn't fiery though.
he was
Lovey was laid
quiet. He
back.
didn't really say much.
Yeah, he was laid back. He was chill.
Mm,
But Lovey was able to have a nice balance with it, right?
yeah,
There's coaches that don't have that balance where Lovey had the respect of his players and they loved him.
they did.
You know what I mean? And they
They did.
played for Lovey.
They did. Bears are not going to play for Mike McCarthy.
Well, I mean,
Well, I'm
maybe
not
he
saying they're
turns the
not.
leaf.
It's a
Maybe.
it's a chance they might not because that's what they lack. And the Bears players have been saying this for weeks during the season.
Yeah.
They need somebody that's gonna, you know, have that vibe, toughen them up. How about them? Cuss them out when they messing up.
I mean, even from we knew it was what it was from jump when Keenan Allen said, hey, Shane Waldron was a nice guy. You know what I mean? He was too nice.
Yeah, he said
He
that.
he, he let everybody get away with with things, and he really didn't hold people accountable, and you know what I mean, get on people in practice and things like that from training camp, from OTAs on. You know what I mean? So, and like I said several times, so you and I have talked about this, like the Bears and that whole hard knocks thing, they set the tone for how the season was going to go, and that lets you know that there's some influence with the McCaskies wanting this to be some type of, oh, everybody's so happy. You know what I mean? It's just a
That's not what
friendly
football
little
is.
little
Hard knocks about
squad. You know what I
football.
mean? It's like, no, this is football, man.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be
Anger and
physical,
cussing and
angry,
fussing and
mad.
yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, stuff like that
I'm
happens.
not trying to see DJ Moore and his family go to the ice cream shop. Like no shade. I'm not trying to see that. I'm not trying to see um I forgot what else they showed. They showed a lot of off the field takes than on the field takes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, and then any on the field takes was a lot of flus trying to figure out nicknames for the players.
I
Um,
think I think I think some of that is needed though. You know what I mean? Like
some,
you
but not
gotta.
a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying over. But you also see the problem is that you can do that, but you can also show the rough side of football. And what they did was they removed everything rough, and they only kept the happy stuff, the family oriented stuff, right? So let's be real. You know what I mean? Like you can give it both. Like these dudes, they do have families. Like I don't mind seeing that. Like it humanizes these guys to where we don't just think that there should be robots out there that only are concerned with football. Let's be real. This is life for them too. You know what I mean? They
That's
take care
true.
of
Yeah,
families.
that's true.
So
I'm
I
not.
don't mind seeing that because it gives you a human element to them. And they're not robots. But at the same time, don't do away with the real thing that goes on in football. You know what I mean? And they did
Right.
that. That was a problem.
I'm gonna go back and watch that Hard Knocks and see how trash it was because we were so excited. Like they wasted our opportunity of that. Like all they showed was, when training camp starts, all the rookies have to. announce their sign-on bonus and I
Mm-hmm.
guess sing a song, and then it went
Mm-hmm.
from that to off the field with Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles. Like we didn't care to see that for real. And
If
then
you hate it, why you gonna watch it again?
just cause to get pissed off.
For what?
They dragged that out. I'm sorry, they dragged that out. Jonathan Owens going to Paris for the Olympics to see Simone. They dragged that out for like 3-4 episodes. I promise you. Like we get it. He love his wife, but
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to see how Caleb gonna look playing football. How is he developing? How is he practicing? DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, the defense. We ain't got time for that. I get what you're saying, but more football, less off the field football, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
remember
agree.
watching the
Yeah.
Jets when they did Hard Knocks. I think the previous year, we saw a lot of on the field because they just got Aaron Rodgers before he got hurt. All that training camp stuff. I don't remember seeing a lot of off the field stuff with the Jets. Hard Knocks. I could be tripping, but I don't remember that. So
Yeah, I think there's an element of that in all of it, but I think the
yeah,
Bears, it was the Bears
we were the teddy bears during Hard Knocks.
purposely took away a lot of football,
I
and
know, and
they, you know what I mean. It's not like I don't think they didn't give more time to that. They just omitted some things that you saw going on. I mean, even Eberflus, the joint practice. Yeah, if anybody fights, you'll be thrown out and
I
blah blah
remember
blah blah
that.
blah. It's like, come
That's
on,
what they
bro.
do.
Like,
They do that every year. Come on now,
but
Flus.
I understand what he's saying. I understand what he was trying to say, but it came across you being soft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you're saying is, look, we got a game to prepare for. We got a season to get prepared for it. So don't get crazy, right? That's what it is. You don't want to get injured. You don't want to let anybody else get injured by doing stupid stuff, by trying to fight and show out for the cameras. That's what it is, right? Don't show out for the cameras, trying to, you know what I mean, and end up injuring yourself. That's the message that he should have sent. Not if anybody touches another player, if anybody fights, we're suspending people and blah blah blah. Like, bro, like, come on, man. This is football,
Mm-hmm.
and when it's a joint practice, these guys are competing for jobs. You cannot
Absolutely.
have competition if you're not going to get physical and tussle in there. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So
Absolutely. I don't
we
know.
going way back to Hard
I
Knocks, man. We
know
spending
we
too much
got
time on
sidetracked, but we brought that up just to say, well, for me, we should have known from that point on it was an issue. We were
it. I
not
think
going to
we
win
did
nothing.
though. We all knew that. We knew that. We knew
I
that
did
that
it.
was an issue when it
I,
happened.
well, I don't know what I was doing, but we were just so excited, and it was like below. It was below mid. And then I should have known when I went to training camp and Caleb had thrown like 6 picks during training camp practice. And
Hmm.
they had like the worst practice during training camp when I was there. I didn't think that was going to translate over into the season for me because we had a good preseason. And then ever since, I mean, the Titans game, defense had bailed us out. And ever since then, downhill. So it's just a waste of everything. It was a waste of everything this season, just a freaking waste. So I say that to say I don't have faith in the Bears,
I mean, we
but
know that.
I just hope for the best. I just hope because if it's going to be Mike, Ben, Aaron, Cliff, whoever, just come in the club, come in the football organization and turn this ship around so we can win games. That's it. Develop the quarterback, get our offense back in rhythm, back in sync, get this line together, and let's go. There's no time to waste.
Hmm.
That's just how I feel. Like we have to trust them, but I just don't. But that's really it. We want to win games. We need to have that locker room presence. We need to win. The players got to respect you. They got to trust you. They got to play for you, like you said. I don't see it. But they see something that we don't, I guess. So they're gonna go all out in hopes he says yes to the job, which he will. And we'll go from there.
Well,
I just hope
it's not done yet. It's not set in stone yet. You talking like
it's
it's done.
not. I
It ain't
keep talking
done
about. I
yet.
know because I just know they're gonna do it. It's gonna piss me off. So I want to go
They
ahead and
might.
just accept it. But I am jumping the gun. So it's not official yet. However, this is the second in person interview they done. They're going out to dinner afterwards.
That don't mean nothing. It's just dinner.
But didn't they do Caleb the same way? They went all out. They went to dinner with him.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
same pattern, right?
yeah.
The
Yeah.
only
Same
difference
thing.
is the Bears have met with other people. The Bears did not meet with other rookie quarterbacks or other players in the draft. They just
Mm-hmm.
met with Caleb only, and that's it. That's the only difference. But they took him out to dinner, the whole nine. That's why I feel like this, and
Yeah.
that's got a strong feeling. I just got a strong feeling inside. Oh, it's gonna piss me off so bad, but I gotta trust him because it could work. What if we do win? What if we do take the North? What if
All
Caleb
right.
does look a lot better? What if we get
I
past
mean,
the
it's
wild
possible.
card? I'm
Anything
not
is possible.
gonna say, but it's possible. We saying no, but it's very much possible. Um, I didn't expect the Vikings to play good this season because they went through I guess you can say a rebuild, new GM, new coaching staff, the whole nine like we did. Look where they at.
Yeah, that's what happens when teams catch fire. Sometimes they catch fire. The Vikings were a fraud, though. They catch fire, and you know what I mean. It's not like
Yeah,
they're.
it was a fraud.
I could see them go out there and be 8-9 next year. You know what I mean?
That could happen. But I wouldn't say the Vikings had a failed season. They had a really good season,
I'm
despite
not saying it failed. I'm just saying they're
what just
frauds.
happened.
They're
I mean,
frauds. It is what it is.
yeah,
I mean, they went out there into a playoff game and they put up 9 points or whatever it was.
that's
They
yeah,
got
that's it.
stomped
The
in the
fraud.
playoffs. Like they were a
That's it.
fraud. They were a fraud team. I don't think they were as good as people thought they were. You know what I mean? They were 14-3, but they probably shouldn't have been 14-3. But sometimes that happens in the NFL where you catch fire and all of a sudden your team gets on a roll and you start winning some games, and before you know it, you know what I mean? You're playing above and beyond what you should be playing, but you always get exposed at some point in the season. The Bears did it. 2018 was a fraud season for the Bears. Let's be real. It was. I'm
Well,
just gonna be real.
if you want to talk
It
about
was
that,
fraud.
the Bears offense and the Bears defense, offense, whatever, shouldn't have put us in a position to have to win by a field goal when you know dang on well the kicker was inconsistent how he was. That's what that was. If you want to say
Christy, it
fraud,
was a fraud season.
whatever.
It's a
But we could have
fraud
went
season.
far. We could have went far, but they shouldn't have put us in that position to win by a freaking field goal because Cody Parkey has been inconsistent that whole season. That's on them. Fraud, whatever you want to call it. We could have went far.
Okay.
We could have went far. We could have went far, fam, but we didn't. But anyway, that's the
You
past.
could have went far, and if you could have went far, if it wasn't a fraud season, they would have replicated it. They would have duplicated it in 2019. They would have got better. It's a fraud season when you pop up and all of a sudden you play well and then you drop back down to earth. That's a fraud. You're a fraud. You're fake. You're phony. That's what the Bears were. They
2018,
played
we were
above and
fraud.
beyond. They caught fire. Everything was cool. That's why you want to ride that wave as long as you can because you don't know when it's going to end.
That was
And
Matt
when it
Nagy's first
ends, you
year.
drop like a rock. And that's what happened with the Bears. And
Was
they've
that,
been terrible since. Let's be real.
that's a fact. That was Matt Nagy's first year in
Fraud.
Chicago, 2018.
Fraud.
You heard me.
Frauds. That's all.
Answer my
I don't
question.
care what it was. It was
Well,
frauds.
whatever. Because when Matt Nagy first came to the Bears, we wasn't complaining that much. It looked good. So call it what you want, fraud, whatever. So I don't care. We were supposed to get past that game, but that's in the past. We in the present right now. And the present is we don't have a freaking head coach. The Bears should have known who they wanted prior to, in my opinion. Because Fluke's been gone since Thanksgiving and it's now almost Valentine's Day.
But you can't know who you want without doing interviews, can you?
That's true, but you can have an idea, a strong idea. You know who's gonna be out, who's not by now. By
Yeah.
that point, you know who's probably going to be out based on the season. Because Thanksgiving is like what? week 15, 16.
Yeah, you know who's going to be available, but you still have to interview these guys. Like you gotta,
Absolutely.
okay, what's your plan for Caleb? You know what I mean? What's your
Absolutely.
plan for this? What's your plan for that? How do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? That's what gets it. Just because a guy is available doesn't mean he's the choice. You know
I
what I'm
think,
saying? We know who's going to be available. We know we want to interview Ben. It's going to be Ben Johnson. Yeah. He may come in there and say all kinds of wild, crazy stuff, and then when you talk to him, it's like, "Whoa, bro! Like, what are you doing?" You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no,
You
that's true.
can't go
That's
that way. So, I mean, I think this is just the process, man. The Bears are so nervous about getting it right that, and they know it. The pressure is on.
yeah, it
Like
is.
I said, you cannot fail. If you fail at this, Caleb's career
Mm,
is gonna be
just like Justin.
tough. It's gonna be difficult for him to bounce back from it. You know what I'm saying?
I hate that
So,
for him.
and I think that's what it is. It's a maybe McCarthy is the safe choice because he's gonna have winning seasons, and it's like okay, he's gonna have winning seasons. He's gonna have winning seasons. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of time before they really get hot and
I
they
think
and he can win something.
I think
Maybe
he
that's
had
it. It's a safe
it's
choice.
very
That's probably
safe.
what it is.
I think he had like 4 or 5 seasons under 500 since he's been a coach.
Yeah.
I think his percentage is what 60% of wins.
He's always had a wonderful team though. Man, you know what I mean?
He has. So say not
So an embarrassment of riches when it comes to talent on the
that.
football field. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he's underachieved with that talent.
he has. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. Come next Tuesday for sure. I'm sure the Bears might have their head coach, and you all gonna see me in a frantic, depending on who it is.
Let's move on, man, from the Bears. I'm tired of
Yes,
talking about
let's
them.
go ahead and talk about these Chicago Bulls. Well, as you all know, January 12th, the Bulls welcomed DeMar DeRozan back to the United Center since getting traded to Sacramento. I
Oh
wish I
boy.
was there because I never saw
Oh
DeRozan
god.
play live. But it is what it is. Of course, the Bulls lost. They lost 119 to 124. Um, Outside of today, I do want to shout out Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine had what 5 games where he got
Six.
at least 30 points.
Six.
Oh, six. He got him tonight.
No, he's got six. I don't know about tonight, but
Tonight
six
he pissed
he
me
had.
off.
I don't
It
think
was
he had it. I
halftime. He
don't
had
think he had it
zero.
tonight, but
Halftime he had 0 points or 2 points against the Pelicans. The
mm,
Bulls just lost today against the Pelicans, 113 to 119. Um, Zach LaVine, oh, he had 25 points. 25
nice.
points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. Okay, because at the half, he only had like 2 points. And I was getting worried. He was on my parlay now. My parlay lost,
Yeah.
by the way. I could have won 5K. Missed by 2 rebounds.
Zach's been bowling. Did Lonzo start today? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but he got 11 points today. 8 rebounds, 6 assists. So I think he has started his last game, the last game he played.
Yeah.
Did he start? I'm happy for him because looking at where he came from to where he's at now, I did not think he'll play basketball again. I
Hey,
didn't. And if he did come back, like he was going to be traded from Chicago. I mean, I'm sure he can still get traded because the trade deadline is like Valentine's Day weekend, so in a couple of weeks. But
right.
I'm just happy to see him playing basketball again, dunking, shooting the whole nine because that's a long road recovery that he went through.
Mm,
But anyways, the Bulls they won their last, I want to say, 4 out of 5 games. They lost to the Pelicans tonight. They lost to the Sacramento Kings on Sunday. They did beat the Wizards on Friday, 138 to 105. And then they lost to the Pacers in Indiana, 129 and 113. The Bulls are a lot better than I thought they were going to be this season. I completely had the Bulls like, no, rebuild, trade Zach, trade Vooch, start over. And if they still do, I guess Kobe White will be the face of the Bulls. Kobe White has been playing more consistent. Um, so I'm not mad at that. It's just we still don't have an identity. You know, I don't think we haven't had an identity in a while, in my
Hmm.
opinion. Um, Coaching, Billy Donovan, his rotations, people have been complaining about that. I have as well. They want him gone. I think they extended his contract like what 2 years ago. So he's here. But despite all that, the Bulls have been playing decent basketball. They're somewhat inconsistent, but for the most part, one, they're a high scoring team. I'll give them that. Um, just like everybody else in the NBA, we're just shooting up threes and blowouts. What do you think on the
Yeah,
Bulls?
when I'm sitting here looking at the Bulls, I look at the issues that they have. They're a small team. They don't have a lot of height.
We
They
got a
don't
lot of
have good rebounders. I'm looking at Pat Williams the last 5 games,
that man. Is he
last
still a
six games, last
trash?
last 6 games, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 game, 12, 1 and 3 the next, 2, 3 and 1 the next,
Oh my god!
2, 3 and 3 the next, 5 or 8, 5 and 5, and then today 8, 1 and 1.
Oh my god!
That's your, that's your $90
And
million
they paid that
dollar
man. Not was it $90 million or $50 million for like 4 years
Yeah,
to
$90
produce
million
those
dollar man.
numbers? Are you for real? What the Bulls are doing?
I mean, that's what they did. AK, that was his draft pick, so he's gonna try to ride
He gonna
him
stick
and
by him.
and
That's his
and
man's.
excuse me, what happened?
He gonna stick by him.
Yeah, I mean he gonna stick with him and try to ride it out. That was his first draft pick, so that's what he did. It's bogus. I mean, the dude is not, he ain't it, man.
No, he's
People
not
can
it.
say this, that, and third about him, but he's just not it. He's not it.
No, so I don't know. So do you think the Bulls are gonna trade Zach at the trade deadline? With the Bulls?
Probably, yeah.
What do
I
you
mean,
think?
they're in what, 10th place. They're 2, 3 games below 500 now. They're not. They're not. They're not making waves. You know what I mean? Yeah. You probably trade him. I would trade Vooch at the deadline. See what you can get for the two guys, and roll and do what you need to do at that point. But I just don't see them. I don't see them really being able to bounce back from this type of situation that they have going on. And like I said, they're small. You got a bunch of players that all play the same position, which is goofy to me. I mean, I think they got on the roster 2 guys that are over 6'10", or 6'10" is the tallest guy on the roster. And then you got a bunch of guys that are, I think it's like what 11, 12 guys that are 6'7" and below. Like, you know what I mean? It's not a good look. It's not a formula for winning. They're trying to play small ball, but when you play small ball, you got to have great 3-point shooters, and you don't have that many good 3-point shooters. You got Zach who can knock them down, and you got Kobe that can
Kobe
knock them
White?
down consistently, and that's pretty much it.
Maybe Vooch. He'll
I
give you like
mean,
one or
when I
two a
say
night.
consistently, I'm not talking about a 6'11" guy that, or 6'10" guy that
Okay.
shoots 35% from out there. You know what I mean? I don't know what his percentage is, but that's what I'm guessing. That's, to me, that's not that ain't consistent. I need guys that shoot 40 plus. If you're gonna play small ball, you need to have several guys that shoot 40 plus from outside. You can't run around throwing up 63s, 53s a game, and not being able to knock down uh, 30% of them. It's not a formula for winning. It really ain't.
That's the NBA.
Yeah.
Like shooting up 53
It's the
percent.
NBA, but see, you still have to play with what you have. If you have these types of the Bulls have a bunch of guys who are small and can't shoot. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like there's, what do you give me if you're short and can't shoot? You can't rebound. You can't play tough defense inside. So what are you on the court for? I could get guys at the YMCA to do what you do.
That is crazy. You ain't
It's
lying though.
what it
You
is.
ain't lying.
You know.
So, well, the Wolves are getting ready to play the Atlanta Hawks at the United Center tomorrow. Um, I keep bringing this up. Last time the Wolves played Atlanta, they let them score 50 points in the fourth quarter. They got to play defense. They got to play defense. They got to stop their opponent from scoring because ain't no freaking way y'all let them score that many threes in the quarter.
Well, that's the thing. It's the NBA, man. This is why you have blowouts. This is why people find the game boring now is because it's a blowout and guys just run away with the score. If a team gets hot, yeah, they can put up 40, 50 points in the quarter. You know what
Right.
I mean? And it sucks because that's just the way the game is played now, you know. But
Yeah.
that's
So
the boring part of the game, and that's why the ratings are down.
that's true. This game should be competitive. In my opinion, it always has been the past season. The past couple of meetings they played with each other.
Hmm.
The Hawks right now they're 20-19. They're just a game and a half, I want to say, under the Chicago Bulls. So if the season will end today, I think the Hawks and Bulls will play in a play-in tournament like they did last season. Is that how that worked?
Yeah,
Ninth and the 10th. So I don't know.
much to do
I
about
just
nothing.
huh?
I say there's much to do about nothing. I mean, they're not going to do anything.
No, they're not. They're not. If anything, they'll play. I think the second seed. How's that playing? I don't know how that stuff works. It's too much change. It's too much experimenting for me in the NBA because now they're changing the All Star game as well. The All Star game format. They got these tournaments, in season tournaments. They got these playing games. I'm not used to that. I'm used to just the regular 1 through 8. One play 8, two play 7, three play 6. You know how that go.
Right.
7 game series, and boom, that's it. They do all this extra, all this freaking extra, and then it's almost time for the All Star game, and you know how that's gonna turn out. Boring. It's been boring for the past 5 years at least. The dunk contest has been so garbage the past couple of years too. I get them changing the format. I gotta find what it is. I'll say it next week, but they're trying to find ways to make it more exciting.
Hmm.
I honestly, I don't know what they can do to make it more exciting. Um, the NBA as a whole is it's just bad. It's just bad. It's just bad.
Hmm.
You know,
I agree. I agree.
bad. Like I don't know what else to say about it. It's just I've never seen it like this, and I've been watching basketball faithfully since I was 12 years old.
Hmm.
I'm 33, and I've never seen a bad season like this where you don't want to watch.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's a boring game right now. That's what it is. It's a boring game. They got to figure out a way to get back to having some skill and things like that. It's a watered down game. Everybody comes out after 1 year in college, so
Yeah,
guys are really not prepared and they're really not ready to play
that
the
plays a part.
game.
Yeah.
They don't know
And
basketball yet.
and then our goats, they're about to leave the game. Curry, LeBron, AD, they're all going to be leaving soon. So who's going to be the face of the NBA? It should have been John Morant, but John Morant got into all that legal trouble. I'm gonna be 1,000% honest. I feel like Anthony Edwards is too much of one of us to be the face of the NBA. He could have it, but I feel like they think he's too much of one of us. That's what I'm trying to say. That's how I feel. I'm like, whatever, but who's gonna be the face of the NBA? It could be SGA, maybe.
Probably, maybe.
Jokic.
Wimbenyama or whatever. Yeah.
It might be Wimmy. It could be Wimmy.
I mean, you got some good players out there, man. You got some decent
They
players
don't
out
put
there,
that up.
but I'm
That's
saying for
like
the
Curry and them, like in LeBron. They took over. They took over the league, but I don't think we have a player that has that same presence like LeBron and Steph Curry had. Am I tripping?
no, I mean you don't have anybody that's wrecking shop like they did. You know what I mean? Like that runs the league. You know what I mean? So
Yes, that runs the
you
league.
just have a bunch of guys that are good players. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And stuff like that, and that's pretty much it. I mean, maybe Joker. You know what I mean? Maybe he runs the league right now. Yeah,
I
I
can't
don't know.
stand how he plays. He
It's
plays so.
boring though. It's a boring game because it's no defense. It's no competition.
That's
You
it.
know
That's
that
it.
and
No
no,
competition.
it's not
That's
a
it
good
right there.
product.
They're not playing to compete. They're just playing to play.
Yep.
So next week I do want to talk about the format of the All-Star game because it is coming up soon. Next week we're going to talk about the Bears and who they decide to hire for the head coach.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Once it's official.
Yeah.
Once it's official. Nothing is official as of yet, but once it's official, we'll definitely go ahead and talk about it. One thing I will be happy though, we'll have the coach and we can move on. Right?
I agree. We can start preparing for whatever's gonna come next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Just start trying to figure things out.
before we go, I do want to touch on the NFL playoffs.
Okay.
And the games for this Saturday and this Sunday. Shout out to Green Bay. They lost. Jordan Love. That's not who I think he is.
Throwing picks.
Huh?
Throwing interceptions.
Yes, it's always good to see Green Bay lose.
Yeah. Always.
Always. All
Absolutely.
freaking ways.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's go ahead and do our picks and then we'll go ahead and close the show out, okay?
That'll work.
So we got on Saturday, we have the Houston Texans playing Kansas City. We got
Kansas City for me.
I'm gonna go Houston.
Okay.
I know folks say never bet on Kansas, but Kansas, if you talk about frauds, if they lose, are they a fraud? This a fraud season?
No, Kansas City's not a fraud season. Heck no. They're,
A lot of games they won, they should not have won.
That's not a fraud season, though. A fraud season is when you rise up one time and
You're
you
right.
drop off the face of the earth.
You're right.
That's
Okay.
what that is.
Next game, this game is really good. The Commanders versus the Lions.
The Lions, I take.
I don't know, because if the Commanders can somehow knock out the Lions, they're going all the way. Ray Daniels is him. Y'all saw how he won that game-winning drive.
Yeah, he's
Hey,
balling. He's balling.
I don't know who else.
I'm gonna stop short of saying they're going all the way though. I ain't doing that. That's
all right. Well, that's just me.
you out there on your own limb on that one. I
I'll
ain't stepping out on that limb with you. That's about to break.
They'll go to the Super Bowl. I'll say that if they can beat the Lions. I'll probably say the Lions only because they're at home.
Okay.
They're at home. Then we have the Rams and Eagles.
The Eagles.
I got the Eagles too. And then lastly, battle of the MVP, baby. We got the Ravens and Buffalo.
I'm gonna go to Ravens.
I'm torn. I want Lamar to get MVP. But I
You
love
want
Josh
Lamar
Allen.
to get MVP, but your favorite quarterback is Josh Allen. So which one you going?
One of my
Pick
favorites.
one. Pick.
You want to keep throwing that out for what? Yes, I like Josh Allen. Josh Allen has made stuff shake this season. He looked good, and I'm sticking by him. So I guess I'll go Buffalo. Buffalo is at home. But I do not count Lamar out.
Like,
Lamar
what's the
is on a
meme?
mission. They both are on a mission. So it's going to be a good game, a really good game to watch. That come on Sunday at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
So come next week, we're going to talk about who won. I really hope.
All right.
It's going to be a good football weekend. I can't wait. All right, y'all. So make sure you guys follow your girl, Kristy Love, at I am Kristy Love on Instagram and on Twitter. And as long as TikTok is still here, hopefully it's still here come next week. Follow me on TikTok at Kristy Love Sports. Where can I find you, Dan?
At Daniken_DG3, of course, Three Kings of the Midway podcast. We'll be recording that as well. We'll be doing spaces from time to time and things like that. If any news breaks, I'll probably open up a space and get to talking about it. So y'all look for me on Twitter and on X or whatever you want to call it.
Dan, I be in your spaces like almost every time you have them. Mm-hmm. And one thing I notice you always say is, all right, y'all, I'm going to close this spaces down. I'll open in about an hour. And you never do.
Yeah. That's my sign off. You know what I mean? That's my sign off.
That's your sign off.
I might come back in about an hour and then I never do. It is what it is.
Yeah. But okay. Make sure you guys follow Team MBS Media on all social media platforms. Make sure you guys
sports,
check.
news, entertainment,
Yep,
lifestyle, all of that.
y'all. I just hope the Bears do the right thing. We just
Well,
don't
we
understand
shall
the
see.
war we're about to have if they do not hire Ben Johnson. I just want to say that. We'll talk about that and more come next week. Thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.